Hello, welcome everybody. My name's John. I'm a marriage and family therapist with Transform Therapy Services.
And my name is Erin Dumaire. I'm a psychedelic integration specialist at Transform Therapy Services.
Welcome to our webinar. Today we're going to be walking you through our presentation on all things ketamine, in which we'll be talking about ketamine, ketamine-assisted psychotherapy, and more. Erin's going to kind of introduce us in the next slide about what the overview will look like. Just a little bit about Transform. We're an online company based in California in which we provide online therapy services to residents of California. And we also provide remote ketamine-assisted psychotherapy in addition to in-person group immersions for ketamine-assisted psychotherapy.
Awesome. So, kind of just giving you an overview of what we'll be discussing today. What is ketamine? A lot of people really aren't really sure what it is. And so we'll go into the difference between ketamine and other psychedelics, conditions that ketamine actually treats, a little bit more about Transform Therapy, who we are, what we're all about. Then we'll kind of get into weaving the music and ancient traditions into spiritual healing circles and any ongoing support that we offer. We get this question all the time, like, what is ketamine? Ketamine is a medicine, it's an anesthetic that's used in hospitals, in veterinarians, and it was an anesthetic for a long time for surgeries. And what they found is when given in low doses, they had psychedelic effects to it. There's like different ways that it's administered. When we're working with ketamine-assisted psychotherapy, one way, if you're going to a clinic, sometimes they'll inject you inside of your muscle for an intramuscular injection.
Okay, so what is ketamine-assisted psychotherapy? It's abbreviated, the acronym being CAP. So you'll hear that frequently in that kind of jargon in this field. So ketamine-assisted psychotherapy is a process where there's not just a ketamine dosing session. What's really valued and utilized a lot is in ketamine-assisted psychotherapy is the preparation with the psychotherapist or an integration specialist. So in the preparation session, there's a high focus on preparing the patient for the dosing experience. So there's a lot of talk around exploring symptomology and expectations for what to expect for the dosing session. Because of the nature of this experience, it's very non-ordinary compared to traditional approaches and the conventional approaches with psychotherapy. So there's a lot involved, and a lot is focused on the psychedelic experience and how to navigate that. So there's preparation, then that leads to the dosing session with the ketamine, where the patient isn't left alone. There's always support by either the therapist or the integration specialist during this time. And after the dosing session is arguably the most important part of the work, which is the integration work with, again, the therapist or the integration specialist, because oftentimes in other approaches like IV clinics or something like that, there's not a specific focus on integration work. With given the nature of ketamine and the neuroplasticity that we'll go into a little bit more, there's the importance is centered around integration, because integration helps with actually implementing the insights that have gained during the dosing session.
So what are the effects on the brain? What are the effects that ketamine has on the brain? Well, ketamine is a dissociative, and dissociative really means that your body dissociates from your spirit. So sometimes people have a out of body experience, and that's where the envisions come through. That's where a lot of the healing can come through. And this really enhances the neuroplasticity, really the ability for our brains to create new neural pathways, new ways of thinking, and essentially new patterns that are going on in your life. Ketamine is also really safe to use with SSRIs. So as opposed to other traditional psychedelics, which you're not able to use SSRIs, ketamine you are. So what's the difference between ketamine and other psychedelics? We get this question all the time. Other psychedelics like mushrooms, ayahuasca, DMT, those are tryptamines, and they work in the serotonin receptor of the brain and are hallucinogens. Ketamine is a little bit different. It acts on the NMDA receptor, and it really causes that dissociative property, just like an anesthetic does. So it takes you out of your body and into that subconscious realm.
Okay, so some of the conditions treated with ketamine are PTSD, which is also a trauma-related condition. So essentially just trauma and trauma-related conditions. Also, anxiety and OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, which is also under the branch of an anxiety disorder. And again, kind of referring back to what I was speaking about earlier with the default mode network and why this is so efficacious with treating anxiety and anxiety-related conditions as well. It also seems to be very, very helpful with depression and depressive disorders due to the centers of the brain that it targets that I'll speak to shortly. Also with eating disorders, treatment-resistant patients, which is an interesting term in itself, but people basically that have tried conventional approaches for so long and they've kind of come to their wits' end and the traditional approaches aren't working. And this is oftentimes when these folks are seeking an alternative approach, and ketamine can offer what traditional talk therapy cannot. It's also an incredible way to deepen your connection to your spiritual self and being, and really start to develop a connection with this mysterious, beautiful life and a connection to the spirituality and the universe. Can help with increasing connection to oneself, to others, and also deepening one's spiritual awareness and awareness of themselves and the world. How does ketamine function in the brain? So I already touched on this a little bit, but it does seem to be targeting the default mode network, again, reducing kind of like the overactive rigidity of cognition and patterns and anxious thinking. It works with depression and anhedonia, lack of motivation, the rigid pessimistic cognition, because it seems to be targeting the incentive and motivation centers of the brain, which kind of help to elicit interest, hope, and curiosity, and kind of reignites that curiosity back in us. All right, what sets us apart from other companies and other people that are offering ketamine? So let's first talk about ketamine-assisted psychotherapy, and this more insightful and advanced approach, in my opinion, and our opinion, of course. This is why we champion this model and why we, implement it. So infusion clinics, basically, they provide you with the ketamine dosing session, but they don't offer what we do, which is the assistance of psychotherapy, which seems to be much more effective because the infusion clinics just allow you to have this really powerful and evocative experience, and then they send you home. So there's no additional support of psychotherapy as an adjunct. So that's what we offer, and it's way more effective in that it provides a lot more support by trained professionals who understand the psychedelic experience and also understand the practice of and the process of psychotherapy. So those in conjunction are two powerful modalities. So you have the psychedelic with an adjunct of psychotherapy. This equates for a recipe for way more possibility for success. So those of us who work here at Transform, we have years of experience of facilitating psychedelic medicines and just ceremonies or psychotherapy or integration sessions and preparation sessions. When working with us, when me and Aaron are in conjunction here, we have the blending and the fusion of both of our insights coming from a trained psychotherapist and someone who's trained in somatic experiencing and integration is her specialty. So that fusion there is an incredibly powerful combo. Those of us at Transform, we have years and years of doing our own personal work, which we find to be the foundation of being in service to others, is having a very strong foundation of our own inner healing and trauma work. Because, once you're in that space of of confidence because you know that you've resolved your own issues. This is when you can truly help others work through theirs. So that's something that we really hold as a value of ours. For the in-person group immersions that we do, we facilitate them with live music. You know, there are some people that are doing this and they offer like sound baths and soundscapes, which is really beautiful. And we also are offering this as well. But we also have live music that facilitates the experience and serves as a guide. And if you look at the scientific studies that they're doing with psychedelics, they all use music as well, usually pre-recorded. But this is, again, what sets us apart is the live music component. We offer additional support, ongoing support for, you know, patients that are in need of it, whether that's through our integration pods or group integration circles, or one-on-one, whether with the integration specialist or therapist. I want to talk a little bit about music and ceremony and healing sessions. So psychedelics are nothing new. You know, they're making a comeback, but this is nothing new. They've been used for thousands and thousands of years across the world in different parts of the continents and with different medicines from the earth, whether that's the mushrooms, the cacti of the San Pedro, aka Wachuma, or peyote, or the ayahuasca and chacruna blend that makes up the ayahuasca brew. These are indigenous cultures that have been using them always, you know, for the most part, use music as a guide through chanting. For example, through ayahuasca, they would use chanting and what they would call the Icaros. And these are songs that were given to them through the plants that would also help guide the experience and help bring up things in the experience. Music serves as an anchor, which helps people connect to the music, helps them stay grounded and centered. And it also helps elicit emotions. It brings up memories and helps people soothe and ease their mind throughout the experience. I want to talk a little bit about what we do and what we're doing with weaving ancient traditions and modern treatment, really holding an integrity and respect to the medicine, the psychedelic use, how they've used them in ceremonial ways and gatherings in the past, and bridging that with a modern medicine and a modern approach of psychotherapy. So in ceremonial approaches, they would always gather with strong intentions, and intentions to heal and get rid of the sickness that we've been living with, heal our depressions and our anxieties and the traumas that really pervade our lives and impact our ability to live fully fulfilled lives. When we gather in collective mindsets with other like-minded individuals, the outcomes are amplified because there's more than one mind that's gathering, and the power of intention is enhanced when there's more people with the same mindsets coming into it. So again, ketamine is a new medicine that's being we're utilizing in the way that our ancestors did too. So this is where the fusion comes into play. And yeah, we really want to honor and respect those who have paved the way before us. You know, with all respect to science, scientific advancements, and all that, they're kind of just rediscovering what our ancestors already knew. So we want to really approach these circles and our treatment with respect to those who came before us. So our final thoughts, we want to very much emphasize the fact that we don't believe that ketamine is a panacea. That means it's not going to fix and cure the world and everybody. However, it does offer something that conventional approaches at this current moment do not. And it's not for everybody, but it's for so many people, and it can help a lot of people. It might need more than one time. You might need more than one session. Journey Clinical recommends at least 6. And so one session might not do it for you. So we want to stress that as well. The last thing we want to say is that healing is not a destination, it's a journey. It's an absolute process that's ongoing. And to be patient with the process of healing.
We want to come in and just kind of talk about our integration pods. So every week, we host virtual integration pods every Thursday from 5 to 6:30. And this is a great space for anybody and all over the world or all over the country. If you're using ketamine already and you're looking for support, maybe you're going to a clinic that doesn't offer integration or therapy support for you, that you can come in to our supportive group setting. It's all virtual. It does keep the cost on a lower, more affordable rate, with really experiencing that high quality benefit that you get with just really healing in that community way with other like-minded individuals who are also going through the same, ketamine experiences that you maybe as well. So yeah, we just want to go over the sign up process with everybody. This is for our group immersions that are generally happening in Southern California and the LA area. So what you'll do is you'll sign up through the link that is posted on our website. Once you sign up through the link, then one of our therapists will reach out to you and you'll have an intake through Transform Therapy. Then you will have a consultation with a prescribing physician. Once the prescribing physician has evaluated you, then you'll get the medication sent to your home. You'll actually have 2 doses sent to your home. So when you come to the group, you'll actually take one of those sessions and bring them with you to the immersions. But before that, we do have a virtual group preparation session. Like we said, we really want to make sure that you're as confident as possible, prepared as possible. Really, we're teaching you a set of tools so that you can have the most successful journey on the day of. Again, bringing your medication to the immersion that day of, you want to make sure that you have a chaperone who can drop you off and pick you up. Unfortunately, you're just not able to drive for that day. And then afterwards, we're here to fully support you. We do have a virtual group integration session that we can really come together and talk about the experience and really come back into that community aspect of healing.
Yes.
Any last thoughts, John?
Thank you everyone for taking the time to watch our webinar. We hope to see you at one of our ketamine events in the future. They've all been incredibly successful and very fruitful and powerful sessions so far. So we look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in.